You're watching the Sporting Time Show with host Doug Thompson. Sponsored by Jewelry Barn and Pawn Shop.
Welcome everyone to the new Sporting Time Show right here on WNKY NBC40. Welcome in. I'm Doug Thompson. Alongside me is Joe Brunk. Joe,
Sir.
How are you?
Doing well, my man. I'm going to reach around this cord so I don't, mess stuff up.
You can do that. I'm very excited. We finally have started.
We finally made it.
You have been with us now for 8+ years.
Been a bit.
You are the voice of STBN TV.
That right there.
You have seen a lot of sports over the last 8 years.
Yeah.
This show, Joe, as we have done in radio shows and we've done in podcasts, this show is going to be a little different. This show is going to embrace the past, the present, and we're even going to try to do the future.
You're gonna predict the future?
It is back to the future. I know.
What?
But it is going to be so much fun. We have two really special guests tonight, and we have got a full lineup all the way throughout the rest of the season of coaches, student athletes, past players. We're going to get some folks in here that may have played 20, 30 years ago that you haven't seen for a while.
Yeah.
So, this is so much fun for us, and certainly appreciate WNKY and this wonderful platform. I love the studio, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And let's set the stage for what this is. This isn't your typical highlights. Here's the week that was.
Nope.
Here's what's coming up. We're not doing that. You've got other places that you can go for that.
Sure.
This is a deep dive. Doug, you're getting in close and personal with these coaches
That's right.
and these players. You're going to meet these people that are in your community, in this surrounding area. These are people that you have probably seen at the grocery store or at church or wherever you go out in the community. You're going to get to know them just a little bit better.
Yep.
And it's going to be really cool.
It's interesting. I met someone that I've known in the golf arena, and he has been at the very highest levels. But what surprised me was what he is doing now athletically.
Yeah.
And he is in his 40s, and it is not golf. We're going to get him on this show.
Yeah.
I think you would be surprised. Everybody knows who he is. But anyway, stay tuned.
Yeah.
We are going to have a lot of fun. And you know what else, Joe? We've got the after show game show in which our guests participate in, and it is a lot of fun. So you can stay tuned. We'll give you information on how you can check that out. But we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to have our first special guest.
Hey-o.
A lot of fun. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You're watching the Sporting Time Show with host Doug Thompson. Sponsored by Jewelry Barn and Pawn Shop.
As far as engagement rings, or any ring for that matter, or any piece of jewelry, there's nothing that we probably cannot do.
Every engagement ring imaginable is available here. We not only have in-stock pieces, but we also make custom-made jewelry. Anything that they are seeing in a mall-type setting, we can absolutely reproduce it if we don't already have it in stock. I will say we're very personable here.
We try to make it very special for everybody.
Planes and trains, cars and guitars, caves and waves, rails and trails, thrills and chills, charm and farms. We could keep going for days, and that's just what it would take to see and do everything in the Bowling Green area. As the home of the Corvette, we sure love our fast cars, but the city offers so much more that we think you'll be surprised by how much is happening here. The icing on the Duncan Hines cake is that we're geared for couples, families, and groups with this many options. For more information, go to visitbgky.com.
Hey, I'm Dave Stumbo, owner at Toyota Bowling Green. If you're looking for a new or used vehicle, what would a lifetime warranty be worth? Ask your dealer for a free warranty for life. When they say no, come to Toyota Bowling Green, where nearly 100% of every car and truck has a free lifetime powertrain warranty. Why? Because we only have the best. Toyota Bowling Green, where we make you number one.
Welcome back to the Sporting Time Show. Our first official guest on our new show on WNKY NBC40, Coach Brad Hood. Coach, you know, it is great to see you. I have known you, well, for 14 years.
14 years.
Since you started as a coach at Allen County, and I'm really happy that you're our first guest.
Man, I appreciate it. You know, I love to talk, and anytime that I can jump on TV or radio or wherever, I'm going to give my opinions, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it.
You know, but the thing that, you know, I was thinking about, okay, first guest, and we've got a whole lineup for the next several months, and this is a different kind of show. This is a show, we're not really going to be talking about X's and O's. We're going to be talking about you, and I know how much you don't want to do that, but we are. But you have, you know, you took that job, and we're going to get to this in a few minutes, but you've had some ups and you've had some downs, and you've had some great ups. And we're going to get to that in a little bit. But, you know, I'm interested because I found out that you were a 3-sport athlete.
For a while.
For a while.
For a while.
And then you became a 2-sport athlete.
Right. I felt pressured by one sport to ease off of other sports, and so I eased off of that sport. Something I regret to this day, you know, and I tried to come back and play basketball my senior year, but I broke my ankle in the second day of practice, and that pretty much ended it. But most of my life, I was either on a field, a diamond, or a gym floor from about the time I was 7, 8 years old until I graduated high school.
But so when you were in middle school and high school, was specialization ever, was that even a thought then?
No, we went from season to season, and you know, my dad was my high school football coach, and the summer day that I come in and told him that I was no longer going to play basketball, it was you know, it was a bad night at my house, and he was very upset at me, and then after he calmed down, you know, and I told him the whole story, he was upset at a lot more people after that, but that's just the way it was. I mean, my dad encouraged me to do anything, you know,
right.
Now being in a small town, the options, you know, basically back then it was football, baseball, basketball,
right.
And then maybe play golf during the summer with your dad or your buddies and things like that. But that was basically it. You know, I always, you know, and then track and stuff like that. But I was always busy with my other sports, and I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed playing ball. I enjoyed being on teams. I enjoyed getting out and working, and you know, and I never really got bored with any of them, because generally if one off season hit, I was going right into something else, and you know, that's how I liked it, and that's how my dad taught me. You know, he encouraged me to play anything I wanted to. I never got asked or never got told I was going to play anything,
right.
But every year a new season come up, even football season would roll around. You playing football? You know, well, yeah, Dad, I'm playing football. You know,
so was
that's
he
what we did.
Was your dad, like, for instance, my dad wasn't really my mentor. I mean, he was he worked all the time. It was a different era, and he supported me 100%. But he worked a lot. My high school football coach was my mentor. Was your dad your mentor? Did you have other mentors as you?
I have a stepbrother, but me and my dad moved to McLean County when I was in 5th grade. My mom was still in Allen County, so it was pretty much me and him until I went to college. And you know, after my parents divorced, it was me and my dad. And you know, I had a great mother. My mother's great. My mother was always supportive. My mother didn't miss any games. But I lived with my dad, and in a day when that was kind of different, you know, and I was his only, and I was his everything, and he was my main supporter. You know, he was the reason I got to do all the things I got to do, and you know, my mom always jokes like about my childhood was unbelievable. It was a good time. I have a lot of fond memories of growing up, playing ball, getting yelled at, getting whippings. But I deserved all of them. But my dad was my number one support, and he was my idol. My dad was a very hard worker. He was a football coach. He was an '80s football coach when it was a different time.
Yep.
But he worked, and I believe he passed some of that on to me, and that's why I try to take as much pride and put as much work into my program as I do from watching him.
So when you decided to sign with Campbellsville University, he had to be extremely proud of that time, and you chose football. That's what you chose, and we were talking before the show, and it was interesting how your position changed, like mine did, as we got involved with football. Kind of talk about the experience at Campbellsville.
Well, I was a good high school football player. I was a good baseball player, but I wasn't really great at anything. Probably the best thing that I was probably my best attributes was probably kicking and punting. And I had some opportunities to go to bigger schools to kick and punt, but I wanted to play football.
Right.
And nothing. that was my mentality. I wanted to play, and if it was going to a smaller school to have the opportunity to play, that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to settle just for being that, and so I went to Campbellsville and I went and watched them play my senior year, and I heard the Coach Finley talk to recruits after the game, and he reminded me just his values, his old school mentality. There was just so many similarities with what I was raised on.
Yep.
And I fell in love with the place. Coach Haywood Reiner recruited me, and just, one of the greatest men I've ever met. And I just really fell in love with those coaches and the way they did things, the way they talked. And my college career wasn't near probably what it should have been, and a lot of that, looking back now, was on me, and I did. The first time I ever got on the football field in college was as a kicker, which I tried to keep that hidden as long as I could when I was there, but one day I had opportunity rang, so I just walked out there and kicked one out of the back of the end zone, and from that moment on, Coach Finley's like, "You're kicking," and so
you got the job.
You got the job, and so then, but I wanted to play. I wanted, I tried to, my senior year, I ended up playing several different positions because of injuries, and even got to go back in a couple games and basically have to be put in because of injury at quarterback. And it was a fun time for me because I kind of got to go back to my favorite position.
Right.
And I got to fill in and help out in spots. But, I wanted to be on the field. I would play anywhere that they asked me, and I would try my best at that time.
So did you know when you were at Campbellsville, obviously you were going to get a teaching degree, but did you know, no, maybe not?
I had absolutely no desire to be a teacher and a coach. My big dream was to hopefully coach college, but getting into that college feeder system was very, very hard. And to be honest, by the time I reached toward graduation, my dad got sick. I dropped all education classes so I could come home and help him out. And I graduated, and my next goal was I'd actually looked at maybe going in the military as a post, graduation type deal.
Sure.
And then when I moved home and my dad had a stroke, had his third stroke, but it was paralyzed, I just kind of stopped on all those things and tried to pay him back for all the years of him taking care of me. And it was a funny path, man. I was back in Bowling Green. I was working when I could and taking care of my dad, and I ended up moving to Louisville. And I was as far away from coaching as I could possibly be. And one day I just realized that I just really didn't enjoy what I was doing. It was hot. I was hot. I was working. I was driving forklifts and doing some neat stuff but it's not what I wanted to be. And so I made a phone call to Campbellsville and pretty much begged my way back as a GA. I quit my job in Louisville. I bought a house in Campbellsville, and me and Dad up and moved again. And Mark Peach gave me that opportunity to be his running backs coach at Campbellsville. And 1 year of doing that, and picking up my teaching degree a year later. I was Larry French's offensive coordinator at Lincoln County, and but I believe I enjoy what I'm doing now because of the path that I took to get there. I always hit it. I always did. I'm not going to be a coach. I'm not going to be a teacher. I saw what they went through, and I saw the hard work that my dad got, the low pay that he got, especially during that time period. And that's not what I wanted to do for a long time, but that's what I was meant to do, and that's why I finally got back to it.
Was your first teaching job at Allen County?
No, my first teaching job was at Lincoln County.
Okay, so then you obviously you got the job at Allen County. You became the head coach in 2006.
Right. I lost a bet.
So what was what was the bet?
Well, I got engaged. I had turned down some assistant jobs in the area prior to, which caused me and my girlfriend at the time some problems because she lived in Scottsville. And we got engaged one December night, and she's like, "What are you going to do to move back here?" And I said, "Well, I will only move back to Allen County." I said, "I'll apply to Allen County if the head job comes open." I said, but if I could get a coordinator's job at one of the schools around or a head coaching job around, then I'll move back to this area. If not, I want to stay in Lincoln County. I liked my job there. I liked Coach French. I liked working for Coach French. And she said deal. I'm pretty sure she would have never followed through with it. I don't think she would have moved to Stanford, Kentucky. But the next day, the day after we got engaged, I got a phone call that said the Allen County job was open, and so I applied because I told my newly fiance that I'd give it a shot. And lo and behold, 4 months later, I accepted the job that I was offered, and have never looked back.
Well, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk further with Coach Brad Hood. We'll be right back with more of the Sporting Time Show on WNKY NBC40.
You're watching the Sporting Time Show with host Doug Thompson. Sponsored by Jewelry Barn and Pawn Shop.
As far as engagement rings or any ring for that matter, or any piece of jewelry, there's nothing that we probably cannot do.
Every engagement ring imaginable is available here. We not only have in-stock pieces, but we also make custom-made jewelry. Anything that they are seeing in a mall-type setting, we can absolutely reproduce it if we don't already have it in stock. I will say we're very personable here.
We try to make it very special for everybody.
Hey, I'm Dave Stumbo, owner at Toyota Bowling Green. If you're looking for a new or used vehicle, what would a lifetime warranty be worth? Ask your dealer for a free warranty for life. When they say no, come to Toyota Bowling Green, where nearly 100% of every car and truck has a free lifetime powertrain warranty. Why? Because we only have the best. Toyota Bowling Green, where we make you number one.
Welcome back to the Sporting Time Show. Again, Brad Hood, the head coach of Allen County, is our first guest on the show. And, Coach, it's, again, great having you here. We get to the point where you're the head coach of the football team. 2005, they had a pretty tough season. You take over 2006. You start to get the wins. 2007 was a tough season for you. It was a tough season.
It was rough.
But 2008, you bounce back. You have a 9-4 season. And then, magic hits. 2009, 2010, you have undefeated regular seasons. You go to the state championship game. You surprise so many people. The Boyle County game, I think, was 21-14. It was a final. You guys lost that game. But it's fun watching you coach and hearing you coach because you pretty much tell it like it is. Is that something that was tough for kids to understand when you first started coaching and for parents to wrap their arms around?
Well, it's funny because, I try to use honesty in all aspects, but like I used to tell, I remember the first day of practice I ever had at Allen County. I got yelling and screaming over a good play, and the kids just like panicked. And finally, I just told them, I said, guys, listen. I said, I'm excited. I'm going to be excited. I'm going to run up and down the field. I'm going to yell. I'm going to scream. I'm going to holler. I said, doesn't mean you're doing bad. I said, and that was something though I learned from those. I didn't feel like they'd ever been given that prop when they'd done something good, but they always had loud voice toward negative.
Right.
And and I'm like, we're going to have to get this over quick. I said, I'm going to be loud whether it's good or bad. I said, the words coming out might change, but the tone, the loudness, the excitement's going to be the same. And that's just, I love football. I loved playing football. I had a lot of fun playing football.
You're kind of old school. When I first went to your practices years and years ago, it kind of reminded me of my coach back in the late 70s. You got after them. You let them hit each other hard. And if they ended up in the woods, so be it, right? And you would just laugh.
I miss that woods. But
it was great.
Well, and that was my mentor. That was my dad. That was Coach Finley. That was my Uncle Joe. That's what I'd known. And, and I didn't try to change anything. I didn't try to reinvent the wheel. I tried to be very good at what I knew. And what I knew was what my coaches had taught me.
Right.
And that's how I always felt like people got the best out of me, too. Sugarcoating it didn't get the best out of me, but pushing me, expectations, giving me goals that seemed lofty at the time. That's what it was. I remember the first time we ever broke it down on district champs at Allen County, people thought I was crazy. The first time we broke it down on state championship at Allen County, people thought I needed to go to the 6th floor. But that was the goals we wanted to set, and that's we wanted to try to match that intensity, and I believe I felt perfectly with the right class of kids coming in, the right mentality of kids, and man, we had an unbelievable run there for a while. I got a great supportive cast, and my two boys are they're my people. They're my stress. They're my fun. They're my life, and I try to involve them as much as I can, and that's something I've tried to do a lot better at. My boys make me want to be a better dad. And and that's just because and they're not me. They like sports, but they don't love them. When I was 9 years old, I was sports. They like school. They like to read. They like trips. They like a lot of fun stuff that I probably didn't like when I was little. But
that's all right though, right?
It's cool,
yeah.
and it's it's made me appreciate it. It's made me change a little bit of my thinking, and heck, my youngest one plays soccer, and that I never thought would happen. But there's still a chance. He looks like a fullback, linebacker, and I'm hoping one day he takes the switch. But right now, I'm a big soccer dad on Saturdays when his games, and so my oldest one plays football, basketball, baseball, and has a blast doing it. But it's a lot of fun, a lot of joy, and I want to give back to them the things they've given to me and my wife, and they've just they've blessed us.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, we're blessed to have you on our first show. Thank you very, very much. Actually, you can go to the after show and see Coach in what we call the game show.
The game,
and we're going to see how you do on that. But thank you very much.
Hey,
we're going to get you back many, many times.
Let's do this.
All right, Coach Brad Hood. We'll be back more with the Sporting Time Show.
You're watching the Sporting Time Show with host Doug Thompson. Sponsored by Jewelry Barn and Pawn Shop.
At Leachman Buick GMC Cadillac, our goal is to make your buying experience fast and easy. Our staff is non-commissioned and are here to make sure you get the right vehicle for you. We are Kentucky's #1 GMC dealer, so you can be assured you will always get the best deal. We have the latest technology to help you make your purchase fast, easy, and simple. It's all part of the Leachman experience. Visit us online at leachmanauto.com.
As far as engagement rings, or any ring for that matter, or any piece of jewelry, there's nothing that we probably cannot do.
Every engagement ring imaginable is available here. We not only have in-stock pieces, but we also make custom-made jewelry. Anything that they are seeing in a mall-type setting, we can absolutely reproduce it if we don't already have it in stock. I will say we're very personable here.
We try to make it very special for everybody.
The ST Show is on WNKY 40 NBC. Produced by Brand Fathom.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me now, is a young lady that needs no introduction, junior South Warren golfer Faith Martin. Faith, good to see you.
Good to see you.
First show. I mean, we'll be able to look at this back on this 10 years from now, and who knows where you will be. Probably on a golf course.
Probably so.
So you're going in your junior year. Tell me how the summer's been. I mean, you're back at it now, but how was the summer? Tell me what you did, what tournaments you were in.
We started playing tournaments in early March, and since then we've been playing quite a few all over the state. We've been as far south as Atlanta and as far north as Cincinnati.
But you just had a really big tournament, right? Was it the junior ladies amateur, or what did you just compete in?
The Tennessee Open.
And how did you finish there?
My goal was to make the cut, and I made the cut. I didn't play as well as I've wished, but I still played pretty solid for the level of difficulty of the course and the competition.
And I found out you have a swing coach. A lot of players have swing coaches. How do you improve? What do you work on from a sophomore year to a junior year? Are there certain things that you just key on, or do you go through your entire club range and work on everything?
It's really the little things at this point, I think, and just coming from being younger and trying to gain distance. Now it's not really so much about distance, it's more about consistency and being able to play to the best of your abilities every round.
How excited are you to kind of get through this season and get back to the Leachman Buick State Golf Championships and kind of get into that mode?
I'm really excited for high school season this year because I know our team is really, really solid. We're all playing solid now, and I know we can do big things this year. The biggest thing that I remember from playing this in the little 6-hole tournaments, myself and Savannah Howe, she's a great player from Marshall County, we got into a 3-hole playoff, and that was the biggest.
How old were you?
We were probably 6 or 7.
Oh, no.
And we got into a 3-hole playoff, and I missed probably a 1-foot putt to lose it on the 3rd playoff hole.
Did it, first of all, did you understand the playoff pressure? And when you missed the putt, was it like, I missed the putt?
I probably didn't understand it. Definitely not compared to how playoffs are now. For sure.
I'm really excited to watch you your junior and senior year. You have 2 more years left. Do you think you might be able to give me a lesson sometime in the next 2 years?
We'll do it.
Can you help me on short game, long game, driving, putting, all that?
All of it.
All of it. I'll take that. Thank you very much for being on our first show. I look forward to having you back throughout the season and keep us updated on how things are going.
Thank you.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
Thank you. Wow, time flies. That does it for our first ever show on WNKY NBC40. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank my good friend Joe Brunk for helping me kick this thing off. And also our first 2 guests, Coach Brad Hood and Faith Martin. Thank you very much. Also, please check out our new website listed below. Shoot me an email. Let me know what you think about the show. Any suggestions, or who would you like to see on the show? Love to hear from you. And always follow us on Twitter at Sporting Times and Facebook, The Sporting Times. Again, thank you very much for joining us. Have a great weekend and a fantastic week. See you next Saturday.
You're watching The Sporting Times Show with host Doug Thompson. Sponsored by Jewelry Barn and Pawn Shop. Find episodes and more. Check out stfanclub.com. And remember, like us on Facebook and follow ST on Twitter.